I also have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. So it's not bipolar. It's highs and lows. It's very extreme. Like when I'm mad, I'm very mad. When I'm sad, I'm very sad. Like I see things, once I get to that breaking point, I see things in black and white.
I had a low-laying placenta, so
it's uncomfortable?
I wasn't allowed to.
Oh.
So it's very dangerous.
Oh, wow.
So you can't do that. I couldn't do my regular exercising. I could like walk. That's it.
That's
so
rough.
It was very rough for me, and like the intimacy part, but also just like not being able to exercise like I used to always exercise.
Right.
So that kind of like was a bummer. Hi mama, you're doing amazing. I know the challenges of navigating through postpartum life, and I'm here to be a village in a world where the village is often missing. My name is Elo, and I'm your host of the New Mom in Town, the Postpartum Podcast. Today's guest is Haley, a loving stay-at-home mom of 2 and pregnant with her 3rd and living with borderline personality disorder. On this episode, we get into the hardships of being pregnant while only 10 months postpartum, how to navigate through postpartum and pregnancy hormones, and how intimacy was never an issue for her and her husband postpartum. Let's get into it. You are now 4 months postpartum. Not postpartum.
Right.
You are 10 months postpartum, sorry, and you're 4 months pregnant.
Right.
So that's wild.
Yes, absolutely.
So you tell me your oldest son's age and so on.
Okay, so Carson, my oldest son, he's 6, about to be 7. He is great. He's phenomenal. And then we have our 10-month-old baby, Grace. And I found out that I was pregnant with this little girl in here when I was about 5, 6 months postpartum, which was shocking.
Oh yeah, right. Because my next question is, how did you feel when you found out that you're pregnant again?
I cried. I was crying for sure. I didn't even want to look at the pregnancy test. I was like, here, you look at it, to my husband. And he looked at it and I was just like, and I just started crying. I was crying for like at least 2 days. And then I became happy.
Yeah, I mean, I can
imagine. It's a blessing.
It's a blessing nonetheless, of course, but you know, it's shocking.
Absolutely. It was very soon. But we're excited. We're hanging in there. It's been a lot.
I mean, you know, it's not your plan. It doesn't go by your plan.
It's God's plan.
Do you ever feel like overwhelmed thinking about how you're gonna, you know, handle both babies because they're both gonna be very little?
Absolutely. And just about space as well, because we're in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo at the moment. So we needed to be moving like when Grace came out. So we're trying to manage that and figure that all out. But I'm not trying to stress about that. I'm just trying to like have myself have the most healthiest pregnancy I can and get through it the best I can without worrying about stressing about like money or space, things like that.
Absolutely, especially in a time like this. So right now we have baby Grace like almost walking and just you're on the run with her. How are you dealing with physically being with a almost toddler and pregnant?
My husband definitely helps. It's definitely getting harder. Like now that I'm about to be 5 months, so I'm starting to get to where it's a little uncomfortable, but it's not even half of what it's about to be. Thankfully, I didn't have a C-section with Grace, so I didn't have much like of a recovery time. So I was, you know, starting to get active again, or especially, you know, on your mom walks, things like that. But it definitely is a struggle. I'm tired all the time. And, you know, just keeping her out of everything, especially because she's crawling everywhere. She ate dog food today. I had to fish it out of her mouth. So
It happened.
It did. It happened. I was like, what are you doing? I literally have to keep everything like cornered off. So, but she just wants to be free. So I need to let her do that.
Yeah.
So then I can't take my naps like I want to and things like that.
Right, because that's what I worried about. Like I was like, okay, even like moms that have 2 under 2, which is going to be you, how do you deal with anything? Because like you can nap when pregnant.
Right.
How do you do it?
Well, when she was a few months younger, she was napping a little bit more. And I was too, not realizing exactly why I was napping so much. and being like, geez, this is my third nap of the day. Like, what's going on here? So that was a little easier when she was napping a little bit more with me, but now she wants to be up and functioning. So, we keep things tapered off or what else, and have all of her toys everywhere. But I definitely just have to be more attentive, have to make sure that I also give her dad the chance to take over instead of me just trying to play the full role all the time. So, and he's a great dad, so he definitely gives me my breaks.
That's good. Having that support is so important.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like, I was thinking about this, do you feel like you will have mom guilt, or do you have mom guilt now where you feel you're giving maybe your baby in your belly more attention than your daughter that's out right now?
No, I feel like I'm giving all my attention to them and not myself. I feel guilty about that sometimes. And just even being here right now, being like, oh, I'm away from the babies, so, I try to make sure that I'm doing things for myself too, because it's just getting ready or, feeling good, feels like I'm giving a little bit more attention to myself instead of just always baby, baby, baby.
As you should.
It's hard though.
It's very hard, but it's also, I know they say that your cup needs to be filled as well so you can give more. However, I do believe that moms can totally give out even if you don't
for sure.
have anything in your cup. But in general, you need some things to do for yourself. So I was going to ask, what do you do right now to give yourself some me time?
It's very minimal, but just even going on a drive by myself sometimes, or at nighttime, I know it sounds crazy, but at nighttime letting him take over and me getting my sleep that I want to, so I could be more attentive during the day. And even if I take the babies on the mom walk, that feels like I'm doing something, getting out, But honestly, it's not much. It's not much for myself.
I know.
It's very much, all about the babies, feeding them, napping, cleaning.
Especially the age that they're in right now. So
Right.
my son and your daughter, they're a day apart.
Right.
So I know what you're talking about. It's and then that's another thing where I feel I'm barely eating myself right now because I'm so just focused and hyper-focused on making him meals and see what he likes, what he's not going to like, because every day it's changing.
It is.
And so how are you feeding yourself? Because you're pregnant, you have to eat.
I know. But honestly, it seems like I'm giving all of my food on my plate to her half the time because she's sitting in her high chair So even with my breakfast this morning, half of my eggs went to her. Giving her my avocado off my plate, even though I had already made her freaking food earlier. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, I do eat, obviously, and I have my little treats, and my husband will make sure, I get my cravings and whatever else, but, it's hard.
It is. You are such a strong woman to me.
You too, Mama, you too.
Thank you. No, but you are literally doing it, and you're doing it with so much grace. No pun intended.
I know. I was like,
you're doing it with so much grace, and I do, and then I enjoy you, coming out and meeting other moms and bringing the baby around, because I think, for me, maybe I don't have a lot of alone time per se, but just being with other adults, especially mothers, makes me feel so much more sane.
I totally get what you're saying, and it just feels good to be around in that type of group that people know how we're feeling, what's going on, and just even have them take the nap while you're walking so we could get a little chat in. It just feels good to be able to even be exercising, get those endorphins going.
So important. And we met so many other moms that are also pregnant while they have a toddler.
Yeah.
Almost toddler.
I'm like, okay, other people are doing it. I can do it.
Grace was a girl, and now you're having a girl again. Have you noticed any difference in the two pregnancies? Is your mental health the same?
Yeah, I cry a lot, just sometimes for no reason even. I don't know, just get moody. I also feel like I was so much more nauseous in the first trimester with Grace, and now I'm more nauseous in the second trimester, which is weird. I just threw up yesterday for no reason. I'm like, oh. And then I have to deal with her trying to break into the bathroom and
oh my gosh.
everything else. At least she's not at the age where she's asking what's going on, but still, it's a lot. But yeah, the nausea is killing me. And obviously just the tiredness, but yeah, and obviously emotions. But my husband, Joseph, he's really great at helping me regulate and, reassurance and just partner time and things like that. So
That's so good.
yeah.
I'm so glad that
We're not
have
perfect, but definitely have a great partner.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot, especially somebody that's supportive. Like if I'm tired and I can't clean up after dinner, he's taking over. Or if like I said, in the middle of the night, if I'm like frustrated, he'll take over right away. So
That is.
he also wears a CPAP at night for his sleep apnea. So I feel so bad sometimes because I don't want to make him like take it off and get up. He'll throw it off real fast and like get up to take care of her. So I appreciate that for sure.
Oh my gosh.
It's like he's like Darth Vader.
I'm laughing because I'm just thinking of Joe Coy, and
He's so funny.
That's all I'm thinking about right now. And now
Yeah.
I can't get that out of my mind. And like thinking of your husband with that thing.
It's actually hilarious. It took me a while to get used to.
Did your daughter, like, does she ever like
she
look at him wanting
loves it. She takes it off, and I'm like scared. I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna suffocate? Like, it wakes him up right away. She's like, it's hilarious. I'm like, is it okay for her? She's getting too much oxygen. Like, what's going on? But yeah, her crib is in our room, so she can like easily stand up and go over to get it. So, and it turns on like in a heartbeat. Like you don't have to even have it on your face. Like if you just breathe into it a little bit, it'll turn on. So it's like, and I'm like, what's going on?
That is hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's very funny to
That's
watch.
hilarious. So,
yeah.
so she sleeps in her crib.
She sleeps in her crib in our room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zayden is still in our room too. I'm not ready for that yet.
Well, we don't have a room for her, so I just need to accept that for now.
That's true. That's true. But at least she's in the crib, so that way when the new baby is here,
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully she doesn't get into like that jealous stage where she's like, wait, I want to be over there.
Right.
So,
I mean, that could happen.
it could.
It could. It can happen at any age, really.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm thinking about getting those like, what's it called? It's like a playpen for your bed almost.
Yeah.
Like the sides.
Yeah, I think it's it's like the railing for your bed.
Yeah.
It's safe, especially for parents that co-sleep with their kids.
for sure. And lots do. So I
Yeah.
think it's like a cool thing for sure.
Yeah, you feel safer.
But me being pregnant, imagine having them up and I have to go pee 10 times a night.
Oh my.
Those up.
So you had your first, your second baby, medicated or unmedicated?
I'm medicated. Well, I tried to not be, but it ended up being that way. We were in the hospital for not that long. It was maybe the second day. Well, my pregnancy story for my first is way different than my other ones. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, it was medicated.
But you had her naturally.
Yes.
And you're planning the same thing for this one.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't think I told you, Grace had shoulder dysplasia, so they had to pop her arm out of place. So they're thinking that this baby's going to be big as well. She was 9'4" when she was born. So they were like, well, we're either going to have to schedule a C-section prior or we're going to have to induce you a couple weeks early so that the baby's not that big. Or else I'd have to get a C-section, which, I mean, I'm hoping not to have to.
Yeah, I hope not either. But,
We'll see.
I've said it to other mom-to-bees, just have some things prepared for you in case you end up with one, so you're not just like fish out of water.
Right, no, for sure. I mean, and I would be, even though it's my third kid, I would have no idea. Like, I have no idea about C-sections, so it would be a whole new world for me.
I mean, I pray it's not going to happen for you, so.
Yeah, at least I could call you and ask you.
Girl, I will come over. I will help you. That's going to be crazy. So when did you stop breastfeeding?
I stopped breastfeeding when Grace was about 5 months and pretty much got pregnant immediately afterward.
So did you have your period yet or not yet?
I did. I had like at least 2 periods. So that's how I knew it was going to be my third period, and I missed it that month. And so I was like, oh, maybe postpartum, I'll just, let it go. And I mean, I had taken, well, when we, had sex, I had taken a plan B just in case, and I still got pregnant, so.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
And And you sure it was that time?
Oh, for sure. For sure, yeah. So it was like right when I got off my period the month before we had had sex, and then I took a Plan B like a day after. And then the next month came, I missed my period. I waited like 2 weeks, and then I'm like, oh, I better take a pregnancy test. And then I did, and then I was like, I can't look at it.
People or women used to think that if you're breastfeeding and you haven't gotten your period yet, then, you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. But you're so much more fertile, actually.
That's what they say, that you got to be careful right after you give birth because you're so fertile for whatever reason. But I definitely thought a Plan B would work. I've heard rumors that they'd work less if you're over a certain weight, which they don't put on any of the boxing or anything like that. But I was still at a higher weight because I had just given birth. And so rumor has it that if you're like over 145 pounds, that it doesn't work as effectively, which I didn't know at the time.
Wow. I'm like mind boggled right now.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
If I would have known, would have taken 3. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like I said, God has a plan, and obviously little Scarlet Ray was supposed to be here.
Exactly. We're here for it.
Yeah. I think that's something that I'm really, contemplating in my head, though, what I want to do after I give birth at this point, because me and my partner do have a good sex life, and I really don't want a 4th kid after this.
Yeah, I'm like, what's a contraception next,
I don't know.
Because it's like, I get it. I don't want to be on any contraceptives.
I don't either.
And I understand a lot of women don't. It messes with us mentally and physically, whatever we got to go through. So I respect that. For me, like, I've been tracking it a lot. I do want to get into like natural cycles.
Right.
I just need to do a little more research about it, but a couple episodes before we had a mom on, and she kind of explained a lot about our cycles and when it's good to have sex and when not to. That's another way of doing it.
And there's like apps and stuff you can keep track, and like it'll show when you're, fertile and things like that. But,
yeah.
But it could really happen anytime. I mean, it's just so, I don't know, maybe I want to get my tubes tied. I don't know.
That is a different story for,
My partner is older. He's 13 years older than me. So I do feel like I want to stop having babies at a certain time so that my babies can be raised with him. Not that he's like an old man. He's 43, but I really want to have him around into their older age. So, I mean, the smarter way is not to keep having babies because he's only going to get older.
Yeah. So. Just so you can be like active, like, depending on what they're going to be doing. Of course, I get that part. I think I want that for myself too,
Yeah, right? I'm like, I'm only 30, but still, I don't know how long I want to be able to be a younger mom so I could stay.
What about, have you guys thought about what if he gets a vasectomy?
Yeah, we've talked about it. So it could definitely up in the air. Obviously, it's reversible. So if we did change our mind in even 3 years, we could figure that out. So yeah, maybe that, or even an IUD.
Yeah.
Maybe. I need to research more about it, though. I don't know much about it.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
All of these things have to do, you need a little more research on it.
Of course.
But I mean, right now, you are good to have unprotected sex?
Yeah, it's great. No worries over here.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So I love that you've been mentioning your husband, how you have very good support system. And how was he when he found out? When you guys found out? He was
excited, honestly. He was shocked, but he was excited. It's his second kid, so it's not like, it's my third. But just to clarify, my first son, Carson, is from a different marriage. Which we're all very involved with each other, and it's a big, happy family. But yeah, he was excited. I think that he wanted a boy just so he could have the best of both worlds, but we're having another girl. He's excited. He's a girl dad.
Oh, that's so cute. And it's so funny that he's excited, obviously, because he's a man.
Yeah, he doesn't have to have another human growing inside of him or share his body with anybody.
Right.
So,
or feed the baby after, but
But he definitely has to deal with all these emotions
Absolutely.
and all of the, side work that comes with being an involved father, so.
Exactly, the involved father part. And I think fathers go through their own kind of like pregnancy and postpartum.
Yeah.
So I do want to give them grace as well.
Absolutely.
I don't always, but they do go through it too, so I get it.
I know.
It's rough for them. But I'm so glad that you guys are just having this like very good, supportive and loving relationship, and obviously intimate relationship. And I love that. That's all we want to hear.
Yes. keeps us both sane, I think, Nothing wrong with a little loving.
So how did you guys first postpartum with Grace, how did you guys kind of get back into it?
We definitely, waited the recommended time. I mean, I wasn't in any rush to be, being all sore and a mess down there and having sex. So we waited, I think, what is it, like a month or
6 weeks?
Yeah, 2 months. We waited 2 months for sure. But yeah, I mean, we just jumped right back in, honestly, because we were having a good sex life during pregnancy too, even though it was uncomfortable sometimes. But yeah, you know how they say at the end, like where they're like, yeah, if you want them to come faster, not come that
like the baby.
But yeah, the baby. And so they're like, yeah, I'm like, believe me, we are. It wasn't helping because she came 2 weeks late.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we were like, really.
You guys were like, we're out here, Energizer Bunny and all, with the big belly. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So for us, it was different because I had a low-laying placenta. So
So it was uncomfortable?
I wasn't allowed to.
Oh.
So it's very dangerous.
Oh, wow.
So you can't do that. I couldn't do my regular exercising. I could walk. That's it.
That's
so
rough.
It was very rough for me. And like the intimacy part, but also just like not being able to exercise like I used to always exercise.
Right.
So that kind of was a bummer.
Yeah.
So it's just different, I guess, for everybody. So that's why I think it wasn't so crazy for me right after for me to get back into it.
Yeah,
because it's been so long,
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, postpartum is wild. The first 6 weeks are wild, no matter what.
For
It
sure.
doesn't matter what you're going through, natural birth, C-section, but especially when it's not going after your birth plan, I feel it messes with you more. But that's just
because everything didn't go as planned in your head. Yeah.
So it's naturally you're just worried about so many things.
Of course.
So obviously, it's a lot of work being at home with your baby girl and being pregnant. So do you work? Do you work from home? Are you not working?
I'm not working at all right now. I was a leasing consultant in Hollywood. I worked at a building in Hollywood, and I went on maternity leave, and it was just such a short. I was just so uncomfortable in my last couple of months of pregnancy, so I went a little bit early, and then that ended up me not being entitled to unemployment after maternity leave. So I only got a few $1,000s, I guess, during maternity leave, and then I wasn't able to get unemployment. Because I left early.
Wow. And so you weren't able to get the maternity, what's the after?
I got paid from my company for I don't know, what was it, 4 months maybe? But I left in October. I didn't have Gracie till January. I left October 20th, and I didn't have Gracie until January 20th. And then, so they paid me very minimal during that time, not even my full paycheck. And then I was supposed to go back to work in April. And I was like, I'm not going back. My baby's 4 months.
No.
So I wasn't entitled to, or I wasn't, they couldn't keep my job. So then I just had to say, screw it. Stayed at home, and then I have to depend fully on his income. And he's great and supportive, and there's nothing if I can't get my nails done 1 month, I'm not going to be like, wow, you suck.
Right.
You are an incapable father. You can't take care of our family, but it sucks, There's a couple months where I have to go without my pampering, or if we're, I can't get everything that we usually get at the grocery store, things like that,
Which also, like, not to mention, it's not even just that one income. At this point, you can have two incomes, and you cannot do that
Right.
because of the world that we're living in right now.
Absolutely.
Which we all pray that it'll change. But so I get that part. But I also, like, for me, I became a stay-at-home mom. Like, yeah, I work from home on like content and obviously this podcast, but it's not like I'm bringing in fortune. So that, I think that part for somebody that's always worked, it was kind of tough for me mentally at first to just like, all right, so I guess I'm not working, but like financially it's all on him. And like, am I allowed to still get mad and bitchy? I don't get it.
Totally agree. Yeah. Cause sometimes I'm like, well, wait, or I don't, all the bill, he's taking care of everything, but I was so independent before and everything was on me. And even in my first marriage, it was very much on me. So now to be in a situation where like, he's, you know, if there's an account that needs to be paid, do I ask?
Right.
Am I like, hey, is that handled?
Right.
You know, like I don't want to be like that bitchy like spouse when but I also, you know, I can ask questions and he lets me know, but I also don't want to put more pressure on him, you know, but like when we do have a little bit of extra money, he's like, go pamper yourself, go get your nails done or whatever else. But I'm not like, hey, I'm going to go get my hair done. I'm going to go get a new outfit. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to be like that. Of course. So.
No, I mean like for me, it's more like if I'm in a mood and I just become like not bratty, but emotions and hormones. I'm going to blame that on, it's not a blame, it's hormones. And you feel some type of way, and then sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe I shouldn't be that mean. Am I entitled to say that right now? Because you're not even like bringing any income into this home, you know? Like that, I had to deal with that guilt in the beginning. And then I kind of like slowed down. I was like, no, like we've talked about this. This was gonna be it. Like I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom and he's gonna do it. And we're gonna have to just deal with this. So I think that was hard.
It's hard for me also because he does a lot of the household things too. Like I'm like, oh, he's paying for everything and he just did the laundry yesterday. Like, oh, I'm not going to complain about anything, you know? So it's like, but then sometimes you do have to say something. So I do feel a little bit guilty there. Or if I'm like, why'd you do the dishes? Like I'm supposed to do the dishes, like, you know, but it's like, he's very much a team player. So I just appreciate that for sure. But you know, sometimes I get emotional and I'm like, am I doing enough? Like,
you are. You literally have brought him a baby and you are raising a baby while you are literally making a new one, and you still have Carson too. You know, you're doing it all.
Yeah. He always reminds me that too. It's just, you know, mom guilt, I guess. Just like, are you doing enough?
Oh, I feel like your mom guilt is, the way you say it, it's to yourself. I don't think you give all your love and everything that you have in your cup to everybody else and not to yourself.
Right.
Like, honey, your cup is being filled by all this. Like,
Stop
you need
it.
to.
Make me cry.
No, you need to realize you're so amazing. You're doing it all. I think you need to also give yourself grace. I love her name.
I know, I love it.
It's like I'm always talking about her. You have to give yourself grace, though. You do have to, you know, sit back for a second and remind yourself. Like, you're cooking, you're feeding, your babies are fed. Your baby is literally fed in your belly, too. You're taking care of yourself. You're giving your, you know, husband love and intimacy and doing everything that you can. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
So how is, like, his schedule?
So he promotes in Hollywood, so he works nightclubs and stuff, the nightlife. So it's usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like nights, like at 11 o'clock. He leaves, and then he comes back at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So he's a night owl. So on those other days that he doesn't have work, that's what I was saying, he helps a lot in the middle of the night because he's like up anyway. So on those nights that he is gone, I do feel it sometimes. I'm like, oh, she wakes up in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, he's not here. I guess I'll go make the bottle. Because he's really great about that. Like she'll wake up, you know, and I'm like, I have a bottle made. And I'm like, oh,
that's amazing.
You know, because now she's on formula. So yeah, it is. And you know, like he has to sleep a little bit during the day, especially on those days. So that's on, you know, I'll be sometimes alone during the day or whatever else, but it's a really good schedule just because we could be home together majority of the time. which I love because she has her daddy mode days and her mommy mode days, and she gets to have both of us. So.
Yeah. I think that's so important, especially now with the new one coming in. So now you have the newborn and Grace, and then he's at home.
Yeah, but that's the hard part. So now he's looking for another job on top of that. So I'm thinking, gosh, what if he gets that other job and then I'm going to be at home with both the babies with two? Well, he has two jobs because we're going to need it, more income. We need a bigger place. So now I'm like, dang, I'm going to have to get used to maybe not having him around as much.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to need that we're going to need more income.
Absolutely. I mean, the best part about this is that you have me. But I think like having a mom community is really important. Sometimes you can just like, a mom can text me and say, I'm going through all this with my toddler, and then my newborn is going through all this, and I love and appreciate that moms are so open to me about it. And I'm glad that I have this kind of
you're easy to talk to.
Like, I love when people tell me these things because one, I'm learning and I'm getting prepared for what's to come with Zayden, but also I am here. I mean, literally, like, what's the big deal? For me, it's a play date. I'm bringing my son over, and he can play with Grace, and you can go and take care of your newborn. Like, it's just examples like this.
Absolutely.
Like, I want you to know that. And any other mom that you're meeting around here, too, everybody's pretty down. I feel like moms are really down.
Yeah, well, that's why it's nice. Like, I never had this type of mom support with Carson. I don't know, because I was younger and just didn't really...
I feel like back in the day, it was more like mom shaming. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Don't come for me. But I feel like back in the day, everything was always like mom shaming, and I never understood that because now I'm a mom, and I'm like, why would anybody shame a mom?
I think, especially for I was 23 or 24 when I had Carson, and then I had just moved back here to Valencia, and it's like most of my friends and stuff didn't have kids. And I had a few friends that would come around and help take care and stuff, or be around, but they didn't understand being a mom yet. And so now I think, people getting older in our generation and having kids, and so it's like people understand a little bit more, but definitely didn't have a mom group like you have provided for me, which is great and I love. So it's just very nice to have other people around that are going through the same thing, be able to meet up, go on walks.
Honestly, just talk about it and just feel heard. Because the one thing that I feel and I've said this many times on different episodes and to other moms in general, it's when we talk about certain things that we're going through, other people tend to want to give you something to make it positive way. But look at it this way, you're doing this. I know. I don't need to hear the positive reinforcement from you right now. All I need to hear is you say, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's why I think moms are important in each other's lives. Not every mom has to like every mom, obviously. But if you find the couple ones, that you really like, you gotta stick around. 100%. Speaking of friends, before Grace, did you have best friends that you were always around or mostly around?
Yeah, my best friend Kayla, she was around a lot with Carson. She lives in Tennessee now, so I don't see her a lot. And she has a baby, which is a couple months younger than Grace, so I wish that she was around so we could, she could be part of the mom group. But most of my friends didn't have kids. And then I feel like when I went through my divorce with my first husband, I lost a lot of the people that were in my inner circle. I don't know why. I think I was changing a lot, and a lot of changes were just happening. So I have this, when I met my current husband, I got I have a whole new crew kind of situation that I've known for a while now, but a lot of them are not moms either. Yeah,
so do you feel like it's different, the dynamic has changed?
For sure, definitely. And a lot of people, especially in our age now, a lot of people they move or people are moving out of California because it's so expensive or whatever else. One of my best friends, Cheyenne, she was there for me through all of my postpartum with Grace, but then moved. She lives in Pittsburgh now. So I guess just life.
Yeah, life. I know, and life is such a fast pace. I thought before becoming a mother and I was always traveling and working, doing so many fun things, I thought that was a fast-paced life. No.
Yeah.
Motherhood is a fast-paced life.
And things are changing fast. Yeah, especially the different stages with your kid and yourself. And,
Absolutely.
you know, it's like it's mostly about you and your partner and your little family.
Which at the end of the day is the most important part.
For sure.
So it's cool that you're having another girl, so then that means you don't have to repurchase a lot of things, but then you kind of do, because then they're kind of like almost like in the same age group, but not really.
Right. So yeah, I'm still planning on having a baby shower, but obviously it doesn't need to be I'm not going to be having to ask for certain items that I already have. Obviously now I need like double things, like a double stroller or things like that. But yeah, I'm thinking, gosh, do I need 2 cribs? Like I'm going to need 2 cribs. They're going to be at the same age. Like, I'm like, I need diapers for her and I'm like, they're both going to be in diapers. I'm like, she needs to be potty trained immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as she knows what a potty is and can say it, and I'm like, get over there. But when I was potty training Carson, like we would have one of those little potties like in our living room, like the little kid one, because it was just so much more convenient.
Oh, 100%. I think that's a good way to get them used to. And it's funny, we're talking about this because a couple episodes before, the moms and I, we've been talking about potty training too.
Yeah.
And the mom before you actually just told me that somebody had told her that once a baby starts kind of like getting up herself, I think standing up, so which Grace is almost there, to have kind of like a potty around and start them at a younger age. The other day my husband sent me this thing where, I don't know how many years ago, so don't quote me, but a while ago, babies were potty trained by the age of 1. And it just changed because of the diapers, or like now that there's like night diapers or whatever they call. I don't even know. I'm not there yet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But things like that. So I don't know. I'm like, so are our children, are they smart enough to actually already get it now? I don't know.
Some people have it down where they are. They start potty training in the 1 year stage. I'm like, okay, well, hey, as long as it works for you. But I mean, I didn't have Carson, and Carson was like such an easy kid. I didn't have him fully potty trained till at least 2.5.
This is not bad though.
Yeah.
2.5 is not bad. Some moms start at 3, 4, but I also think it's not even just a child, it's the parents. It's a lot of work. That's a whole other like ball game.
It is.
It's not the feeding, it's not the, I don't know, the growing and the walking and the crawling milestone. It's a whole different milestone.
But once Carson could tell me like I have poop in my diaper, I was like, it's time. Like if you know and you can put yourself in a little corner and go take a poop, then you can put yourself on a potty and go take a poop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm almost at that stage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to use my little baby toilet that I have. It literally it has a flush.
I had the same
flush, but like the sound. How cute is that?
It's very cute. I can't believe I didn't keep a lot of these things. I didn't realize, I don't know. I should have kept so many of those things.
But also, like, where are you going to put all that stuff?
I know.
It's the storage part. I want so many things, and I want to keep all those things. And my husband has to say, where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it? Like, the garage is full. We can't walk.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah, I get you.
So now having 2 babies, you know, you're probably, you know, starting to think about it. Obviously you are.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the baby shower.
Yes.
But I do think that you should have one because there's still things that you need.
Yeah. And I'm like, maybe I'll just even put some stuff on there for Grace too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll put potty.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a double stroller on there for sure. I just don't know. We'll plan it. We'll see. We'll see what works best.
So now that you are 10 months postpartum, but also 4 months pregnant, how does postpartum, like mood swings, hormones, like which ones are you going through?
I go through it all because I also have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. So it's not bipolar. It's like, it's highs and lows. It's very extreme. Like when I'm mad, I'm very mad. When I'm sad, I'm very sad. Like I see things, once I get to that breaking point, I see things in black and white. So say like my husband, you know, say he's in a mood and he says something to me and I think he's great before that breaking point or before I split. It's called splitting. But then afterward, it's all bad. Like everything's bad. He's a bad person. he's a bad husband. Like, it goes into that black and white mode, or he doesn't love me, or I'm a horrible mom. Like, the second that I split, it goes fully into that extreme. So my mood swings are very catastrophic.
Wow.
It gets to be like very, very emotional, and like I said, like I'll be very happy, and then if something happens, it just depends. I don't know.
And how many times would you say it happens a month? A week?
Maybe 7 times a week. I mean, it happens almost daily. It depends on how much I can control it, and the things that I use as tools now. Like, I have like a book that helps me, like, hey, if you're needing help regulating your emotions and this time, do this, this, and this, A, B, C, D. Or, and sometimes I don't want to dust off that book. And then it gets to the point where I'm like, I need to call a friend. I need to talk about this, and it calms me down. Or I need to escape for a minute and drive around and stuff. And, it's like, it derives from abandonment in childhood. So if my partner needs to leave for me to cool down, it also feels like I'm being abandoned. So I need to be the one to leave, which is hard because I'm a mom and I have my babies at home and whatever else. So then I'm like, am I making them have abandonment issues? So I go from those highs and lows, and it happens very often. And also there's medicine for it, but you can't take it while you're breastfeeding, while you're pregnant, any of that. So,
well,
I got diagnosed with it when I found out that I was pregnant with Grace, which the doctor's like recommending, medicine for it. But I'm like, oh, I found out I was pregnant, so I can't. So I've had to regulate it all on my own. But it's also helped finding out that I have that, so that I could be like, I'm not insane,
But also, you were able to, for the most part, cope with it and learn these feelings that you're going through without having and needing to be on the medication. And also, I feel like that's something that's probably also brought you and your partner even closer, and having a better communication with each other, because now you both know what is going on, what's driving this insanity, quote unquote.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
And before I was pregnant with Grace, I thought maybe, partying, drinking, things like that, maybe that was all affecting me. But then I'm like, oh, now I'm not doing that, and I'm still getting these highs and lows. So it was something definitely that we both had to learn and navigate together. And like, he knows how to regulate his emotions very well, a lot better than me. So I depend on him sometimes, like, to help me get there. Like, sometimes I blame him, and I'm like, well, this is not his fault. He can help me, but he's not going to be able to change my inner voice,
You can.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. Oh my gosh. So when I said earlier to you, you're doing amazing, you need to give yourself grace. Girl, you really need to give yourself grace.
Thank you.
That's huge. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
I mean, at this point I'm thinking about it, I'm like, do I have that?
It's really good to, figure out and get diagnosed, or, talk to somebody and get diagnosed and figure that out. I sometimes feel like I think that I can help myself when I'm like, I need help, You need another person to be there for you.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you're talking about this.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's so many other people in this world dealing with this as well, and they can't be on medication. And also, I feel postpartum itself feels like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like double whammy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So you're really going through it. I truly think that you are Superwoman.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
I appreciate it.
And so we started doing this thing where we ask a mom previously to ask a question for advice to the next mom.
Okay.
And I feel like we already talked about it, but let's just run it one more time.
Okay.
So her question was, how did you navigate through intimacy with your partner postpartum?
I think that it's one of the biggest things that I wanted to make sure we really implemented back into our relationship after that short period of, recovering. That because there was like I said, so many highs and lows. I wanted something that it wasn't all about regulating each other in that sense. It's more intimate regulation. So I just feel like it was one of the things that I have a higher sex drive, I think, than my partner, but I think that that's something that we cherish, like those intimate moments, just being together, even if, because it feels like we have to sneak around the baby sometimes. So
it's like a schedule, and it's like
she's napping, so it's like, I don't know, it's just something fun for you and your partner to make sure to stay close.
Maybe that's the one way to look at it. Like, make it like a sneaky, back in the day, high school time or college, I don't know.
Yeah.
Make it like a fun activity so that it's not scheduled.
It could also be detrimental if you and your partner are not on that level and say he's not pleasing you, or you don't, or he's not in that mode or whatever. So it's good to not force it also, because then it could pull you guys apart.
Absolutely.
So it definitely needs to be that two-way or one-way street where you both are on the same page and want to be in that intimate setting with each other,
Absolutely. So what would be a question that you have for the next mom?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess, since I'm not working and feel like that would be such another stress on top of everything if I was, I wonder, the moms that are working, like, how do they deal with that and juggle, and how do they feel their partner helps them in a sense, to balance that if they're both working?
That's a very good question, because I want to know too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I know a lot of the moms on the Mom Walk, they say that they're working, or even work from home or whatever else.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, it would be really hard.
I can barely create content.
Yeah, no,
it's so hard with these kids.
So I guess just wondering how they balance work, mom life.
I love that. I can't thank you enough for being here. Cheers. I can't thank you enough for being here, but I want you to thank yourself, because you took time for yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, because you do deserve it.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You're doing such an amazing job, and I truly mean that. And your partner too, your husband definitely gets extra credit.
He does. He sure does. And thank you for the mom support, and I think you're doing such a great thing with the podcast, with the mom group, everything. It's just really, and you being a new mama and doing all this and juggling that, I really think it's great.
Thank you. I like to bring people together, and I think we all need each other one way or another. Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this conversation. If you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Your support truly helps other mamas find us. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and become part of our village so you never miss a new episode. We're all in this together. Until next time, mamas, take care and bye for now.